YouTube criminals need YouTube lawyers, right? Hey guys, it's America's Attorney here, and I react to a lot of crazy illegal stuff done by YouTubers on YouTube. Let's just say there's never a shortage of content. Like today's video, YouTubers who've spent time in jail or prison from the channel Sunny V2. Let's get started.
Back in mid-2018, Sam and Ice had the genius idea of hiding in a purple wooden Fortnite llama on wheels so they could sneak past security into VidCon, where they'd stay and film a 24-hour overnight challenge. Everything seemed to be going well in the beginning, as Sam and Ice cruised into the convention whilst filming and laughing at security through a little peephole. However, the two seemed to forget that they were live streaming to thousands of people, and it would only take one call to VidCon to have their whole plan shut down. This call would happen less than 10 minutes after getting inside, which is followed by security and police walking straight up to them before they'd be arrested.
All right. So this is a pretty harmless crime, but this is a trespass. And I think I've talked about this before. When you have permission to go into a facility, like if you buy a ticket to a concert or to a game in a stadium, that ticket is a license. A license is the limited right to use a limited amount of space for a limited amount of time. And it's totally revocable, meaning it can be taken from you at any time. Even if, and I'm just proposing a hypothetical here, even if they had tickets to get into VidCon, but they came in through this side door illegally, they could have their license revoked and they could be kicked out. Just in the same way that, like, if you go to Ed Sheeran concert and you start yelling at him that he ripped off his music from the estate of Marvin Gaye, he can have you removed because it's not a permanent license. And if you stay past that point, or if you come in a purple llama, you're committing a type of trespass. Now, I'm not surprised they didn't spend very long in jail because this is a victimless crime.
Go ahead and step out. Yeah.
Come on, fellas. What is all this?
The Sandpepper and Ice Poseidon's arrest was short-sighted and idiotic. However, it still wasn't as stupid as the time Logan Paul was sent to jail for a whole day after getting arrested in Italy. It happened back—
Okay, before I find out about this, I just have to say, I've spent some good time on this channel having sport with Logan Paul. And I'm not done yet. And I don't just mean today's video, but I mean, he's in the middle of getting sued for things that he has done on YouTube. He's not gonna go to jail for it, but I am gonna keep ripping him on this channel for as long as I can.
Back in 2017, when Logan was in his obnoxious vlogger phase, and prior to the arrest, Logan's group had disrespected Italian norms, gotten kicked out of hotels, and had filmed locals without their permission. So by the time the group made it to Italy's famous Colosseum, they were bound to get into trouble. Logan began by stating that he knew flying a drone over the Colosseum was illegal.
I understand drone shots here are illegal, so let's definitely do that.
However, after putting the drone in the air anyway, the military were able to capture it.
I found it. Ellipsis. Military has it.
And Logan was arrested shortly thereafter.
Fly of a drone in this area is illegal.
No bueno.
I must arrest you for this.
Okay.
I went to jail, bro. I've been in jail, bro.
While Logan did have to spend a full—
I don't have a lot to say about this because it's really stupid, and also, I don't know Italian law. I'm America's lawyer. I don't go to Europe. I mean, not very often, but I don't know about their drone laws, but I can tell you that in America, if a piece of property is owned by the government, let's say a national park, and it's illegal to fly a drone there, which it is in a national park, then yes, you can be arrested for it, but you're typically just gonna get like a $500 fine and get released.
Day behind bars. His punishment wasn't nearly as bad as Sniper Wolf's, who after being charged with armed robbery, had to spend multiple nights in jail. It happened back in 2013 before Sniper Wolf became a big YouTuber, and the incident was explained in a video appropriately titled My Jail Story. She explained that while shopping at a department store, she was asked by security to check her bag, yet since Sniper Wolf didn't want this to happen, she pushed the security guard and ran back to her car.
He stopped me, asked for my bag, and pulled it from me. I didn't know what to do. I just ran away and got in my car.
Sniper Wolf seemed confident that she didn't actually have anything in her bag.
I didn't even steal anything and they had no proof I did.
Yet under the assumption that she was running because she'd stolen something, Sniper Wolf was arrested later that day.
They took me to the police station jail, they took mugshots, and they asked us a ton of questions.
She was then charged with armed robbery.
I was charged with armed robbery. How? They said it wasn't official charges. They could just pretty much charge us whatever they want right now.
Before she'd be sent to a larger jail complex, where she remained for 3 days before being released.
I was in jail for almost 3 days.
Yet this wouldn't be the last time that Sniper Wolf ended up behind bars. Because 3 years later, Sniper Wolf would take to Twitter to make a new post reading, "So neighbors called the cops cause they heard screaming, and I got arrested for disorderly conduct, lol at my mugshot though." This post was followed by a video simply titled "Arrested," in which Sniper Wolf explained that she'd been taken to jail for the night after getting into a petty fight with her boyfriend.
So of course I was screaming. I got arrested for disorderly conduct. Apparently you're not allowed to scream in your own house.
And while it definitely feels like Sniper Wolf isn't telling the full story about both of her
Yeah, she's definitely not telling the full story. You don't get charged with armed robbery unless you have a weapon on you of some kind and you take something. So I don't accept her version of these facts at face value, and I would love to hear what the actual story is. Now, I noticed that Sunny V2 has not said that she got convicted of this or that she got convicted or pled to some lesser offense, but there was more to this than what she has said, including the yelling in your own home, because as my kids will tell you, you're allowed to yell. It happens all the time, especially when you're watching sports or you step on a Lego.
Jail terms, there's definitely no missing details for the next YouTuber who was sentenced to 15 months in prison for playing a prank on a homeless person. Back in 2017, a Spanish creator with over 1 million subscribers called Reset thought it would be a good idea to take the filling out of an Oreo, replace it with toothpaste, and give it to a homeless person. As after the homeless man's daughter noticed the backlash on the internet, she'd take legal action against the YouTuber, and Reset ended up in court. The judge, Rosa Aragonés, noted that it was not an isolated event, and the social media star had a propensity for cruel behavior and preying on easily or vulnerable victims. She found him guilty of violating the man's moral integrity. Reset was sentenced to 15 months in prison and was ordered to pay 20,000 euros to the homeless man.
Now this is interesting because Spanish law, again, is a little bit different than American law or US law. You guys are stretching me out of my comfort zone again because I don't know Spanish law. I know US law, but there are a lot of similarities here. You can look at this from a certain perspective and say, oh, it's not a big deal. You got someone to eat toothpaste, and that might be fine if you're a teenager and it's your teenage buddy and you guys do that to each other and you're always pranking each other. But the judge is absolutely right in this case. You have someone who's vulnerable, who's being made sport of for the monetary gain of this YouTuber. It is reprehensible, and I'm not surprised that a court would assess damages. I really hope that the money that he was sentenced to pay actually wound up in the possession of his victim, because that to me would be a more just outcome. Now, the reason that this is illegal is that it is a battery. I know it doesn't seem like a battery, but imagine this. If you tell someone, I'm giving you something that's edible, which is an Oreo, unless you're gluten-free, toothpaste is not edible, even though you put it in your mouth. You are engaging in a non-consensual touching of the inside of their mouth because they have not consented to have the toothpaste in their mouth. So that's a battery. It's not an assault because they don't see the toothpaste coming. And that's what makes it meaner than some other types of batteries, because you're sneaking up on them, and by the time they're having this contact, it's too late for them to consent or not consent. On the other hand, it doesn't actually hurt you, right, to eat a little bit of toothpaste, but you don't want to do it. And you can't trick someone, you can't deceive them and have this unwanted touching in their mouth. So kudos to this judge and double thumbs down to Reset.
Beamscore was another million-plus subscriber channel who managed to land themselves in prison, although for an even longer time than Reset. The two owners of the family channel, Billy and Eva, were often seen on social media with luxury cars and extravagant homes, yet it turns out that not all of their money had been made through their YouTube channel. Because on the 23rd of February 2020, they'd uploaded a video titled "We Kept This a Secret Long Enough, We Were Arrested," in which they'd explained that they had a court date for an unspecified charge.
Yes, we were arrested, and we have a very important day. We have a sentencing day. That will change our lives forever, for the good or for the bad.
A month later, it was revealed that
I will tell you right now that getting sentenced will not change your life for the good. Let's find out exactly what happens here.
the couple were being accused of identity theft and defrauding the government, having accessed or attempted to access social security accounts belonging to over 1,400 different individuals without the...
Oh, no. You cannot mess with the feds. Come on. Oh, this is such a big deal. I cannot believe this.
victim's knowledge or authorization.
Stealing identities to make money. That was my hustle back then. I knew what I was doing was wrong, but it was just, I needed a way to make money.
The couple explained that all of this had happened 5 years prior to beginning YouTube, although this didn't seem to matter to the judge, who sentenced the couple to 3 years in prison.
I got 2
Yeah, so you should get at least 3 years in prison for this. So this is crazy. His excuse is that he needed some way to make money. So steal it? That's not making money. This is just classic fraud, classic embezzlement. Absolutely no go. I am surprised they only got 3 years, but again, this is a non-violent crime and the prosecutors are often quite lenient with these types of crimes, as long as you confess to it and cooperate.
Russian YouTuber Ruslan Sokolovsky, who was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison for playing Pokemon Go in a church. In early August 2016, Sokolovsky filmed a video of himself catching Pokemon in Yekaterinburg's Church on Blood. The video stirred up a controversy among believers, while a criminal case was initiated in accordance with the Russian Criminal Code's articles, citing incitement to hatred and enmity, denigrating human dignity, as well as violating the right to freedom of conscience and religion.
Wow, so that's a little different. I really am America's attorney. I don't know about Russian law. This is fascinating. You would not go to prison for 3.5 years in our great country for playing Pokemon Go in a church. Now, many churches are open to the public at certain set hours. Now, just because a church is open to the public doesn't mean that you're allowed to do anything that you want in there. If they open the church so that you can pray or light a candle, or it's famous for its architecture and you're allowed to tour it, that's one thing. Playing Pokemon Go is exceeding the limited reasons that the public is going to be allowed into a church. Now, in the United States, you're going to be told to leave. If you don't leave and the cops come, you're going to get some like disorderly conduct or something like that. I mean, unless you start fighting with the cops. This is way over the top. And this is just another one of the reasons that I don't want to move to Russia, and I don't think that you should either.
The alleged crime, playing Pokemon Go inside an Orthodox church. Sokolovsky shared a YouTube video that showed him playing the smartphone game. His video went viral and prompted a police investigation.
In May 2017, approximately 1 year after posting the Pokemon Go video, Ruslan was handed a 3.5-year suspended prison term, and while his 500,000 subscriber YouTube channel is pretty much dead these days, he's still yet to spend any time behind bars.
Well, yeah, they just said it was a suspended sentence. This is not a very well curated list in that this guy didn't actually go to jail. He got sentenced, but it was suspended. What that means is if he doesn't get into any trouble during that 3.5-year period, then he's not actually going to jail. So he shouldn't be on this list, but obviously he shouldn't be looking for Pokemon where he's not supposed to be looking for Pokemon under Russian law.
Honey, who are facing a 7-year sentence for a YouTube prank.
This may have been fun for those YouTubers, but tonight they're facing some serious felony charges and up to 7 years in jail.
In February 2022, the 25,000 subscriber channel posted a video titled 24-Hour Overnight Challenge in Target.
We're about to spend the night in Target. We're gonna spend overnight in Target.
After introducing the video, the two would hide in the store and wait for it to close. They then walk around filming themselves before walking out in the morning, stating that they had been been there all night. The video went up like any other, however, the couple was arrested after the video was watched by police.
This is the most predictable outcome. You're not allowed to spend the night in a business that's closed at night. So let's start out with the basics. When a business holds itself open to the public, you have permission to be there. That's again what we call a license. You have a license to be there only as long as you are behaving within the scope of that license. Well, they're not inviting people to sneak around and stay there all night. And I love to say that some crimes are victimless because sometimes they kind of are. This one is not, and here's why. There's a very real danger that these people get shot by security, right? Like the idea that a building is empty and is supposed to be empty, and then a security guard comes by or the morning shift shows up and there's people inside could be very, very dangerous. I'm not surprised that they got arrested. I'm waiting to find out that they didn't get 7 years because obviously they're not going to get the full 7 years that they could have. But this is a trespass, and I'm not surprised that they got charged. I am surprised that they don't have anyone in their life that they can talk to about whether or not they should upload this video. But they uploaded it.
Whiteland police saw the video and arrested Johnson LaRose and Charlotte Fisher for criminal trespassing and conspiracy.
Criminal trespass, which is a felony of the 3rd degree. They're not entitled to be there, which makes it a crime.
Not only did the news expose their challenge as fake, using security camera footage which showed them leaving the store at 3 a.m., but after being arrested, the two were charged with criminal trespassing, conspiracy, and are now facing up to 7 years in prison.
I cannot believe they didn't even stay all night. No wonder they didn't get the full 7 years. But once again, we don't know what they got sentenced to because this video doesn't tell us. So,
However, 7 years is still nothing when compared to Wes Watson, whose 10 years in prison acted as a basis for him to become a multi-millionaire. Now, Wes was already a millionaire prior to entering prison, however, this money had been earned via illegal activity and would therefore also become the reason for his time behind bars. After 10 years in the California prison system, Wes decided that he was ready to get his life together, and instead of taking on a normal post-prison job, he instead created a YouTube channel titled GP Penitentiary Life Wes Watson, where he began to tell stories about what prison was really like. His ideal prison-like image helped all of his videos to explode in popularity.
So I went on that YouTube channel and it blew up. Every video got millions of views. I got 100,000 subscribers in 28 days.
And with his physique also being in a very enviable position from his time away, Wes sold fitness programs and coaching via his social media channels. Wes also put out a book.
Wes has got quite a little business going here, and I think it's pretty cool. One of the reasons that I wanted to react to this video is that I was hoping my buddy Matt, who has a channel called Inside True Crime, would be featured on here because he's a very successful YouTuber who did some really, really hard time in the federal prison, and it's kind of like a bad guy turns good story. So, way to go, Wes.
And only 3 years after being released from prison, Wes had once again become a multi-millionaire.
That's why I've been able to make myself a millionaire and stay fit this quick. 3 years after doing 10 years in prison. Everybody told me, Wes, get a real job. How are you gonna support a family? Online coaching. Ha!
Which accompanied a whole new series of videos in which Wes preaches the importance of good habits in the most brutally honest way possible.
You will have zero value in your life. Zero worth if you don't put the work in. If you crack that bottle and think it's gonna do it, massive downside. Hey, look at me. I'm having so much fun. We know how you look in the morning throwing up in the toilet, looking at your bank account all.
However, while prison led Wes Watson to become a successful motivational speaker, for the final YouTuber on our list, the opposite happened, and being a motivational speaker led him into prison. He was a Mexican YouTuber by the name of German Loera MX, and as mentioned previously, he was known for posting motivational and business content to his channel with over 5,000 subscribers. However, instead of engaging in legitimate business practice, German instead decided to make money by kidnapping someone and holding them for a $100,000 ransom. 2 days after doing so, he was caught by police and was sentenced to 50 years in prison, where he remains to this day.
Okay, I am so glad that that crime was not related to a video that he was going to upload. In fact, in many ways, it probably violated all of the principles of the videos that he does upload, which are like motivational speeches or whatever. Wow. Hey everybody, kidnapping is a crime. It's still illegal everywhere, including Mexico and including in America. 50 years is a really long time to get sentenced to prison, but you know, kidnapping someone is a really, really bad thing to do, so. Wow, that was so many YouTubers, and I already know it was just the tip of the iceberg. And if you want me to react or to break down a video from one of your favorite YouTube criminals, let me know in the comments below. And you can also check out my reaction to these regular criminals. Hey, I'll be back soon. Bye.